All right, what's up, guys? I got some crafting tips for Root, the board game. So we're just going to go through this. I kind of separated all the cards by crafting cost and then suit. So we got mouse at the top here, and then rabbit in the middle, and then fox on the bottom. And from left to right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 crafting costs for certain cards. So yeah, let's just start over here. So obviously we got the ambush cards for each suit. And then 2 for bird suit. So 5 ambush cards in total. Don't need to be crafted, it can be played instantly from your hand. But it's cool to know that there's 5 of them. Obviously then we have the dominance cards, 1 for each suit, so that changes your victory condition. And don't necessarily need to be crafted, you just have to have 10 victory points to play. And then you got the bird victory condition, which is the corners. At 3 crafting cost, we have the favor cards, 1 for each suit, which will eliminate enemy pieces in that in all of those clearings. And then we have there's no favor card for the birds, so we have the royal claim instead, which just requires 4 of any crafting suit. So it requires you to own a substantial part of the forest. Therefore, you kind of have a royal claim, giving you points once you play that card for each clearing you roll. Then for 3 crafting costs, there's actually nothing for fox or for rabbit. But there's 1 for 3 mouse. It's stand and deliver, allowing you to take a random card from another player, and then that player scores a point. Now the only other card that costs 3 is tax collector, and there are 3 of them in the game, and they just cost 1 of each of the suits. So interesting, unique card there. Then we'll move on into the cards that require 1 and 2 of each crafting, and we'll see some interesting stuff here. So first off, for mouse, we've got only 1 card that's crafted with 2 mouse, and that's Scouting Party, making you immune to ambushes as attacker. For 1 cost as mouse, we got a lot of stuff. So this is really where all the options come for crafting with mouse clearings. So obviously first we got code breakers, letting you look at one person's hand once in daylight. And we got root T, obviously crafting that for the vagabond, and the sack. So the 4 different cards allow you to craft the sack. And then finally we have sappers, letting you deal an extra hit as defender once. So those are all the 1 cost mouse cards. Then moving on to rabbit. Rabbit actually has the most cards craftable in costing 2 rabbits. So first off, we have the coins, and there's 3 of those you can craft, and that gives you the largest amount of victory points and probably a better item for the vagabond. And then we got Better Borrow Bank, and that's a really powerful card draw for you and an ally. And Command Warren, letting you initiate a extra battle, and then Cobbler, letting you take an extra move. So those are super powerful and really just build up your faction. For 1 cost rabbit, we actually only have 1 item, and that is the boots. So there's 4 cards of that, and just 1 cost, and lets you craft the boots for the vagabond. Now, fox is where it gets really interesting. So for 2 cost fox, we have 2 cards. First, we have the sword, and so this is actually the only place you can craft sword. Just 2 fox crafting ability right here, and no other swords are in the game, so just these 3. Now, Brutal Tactics is the other one. That lets you deal an extra hit as attacker, but you give a victory point. Well, the other player scores a victory point when you do so to them. Now, for 1 cost fox, we got 3 different things. First, let's start over here. First, we got armors, letting you discard it to negate all rolled hits. Pretty powerful. Then we have crossbow, and there's 2 copies of it. So that gives you the ability to craft the crossbow. And then finally we have the anvil. Now this is the only copy of anvil in the game, craftable only for 1 fox. And so if the vagabond wants that, he's got to have this card or have somebody who's going to make it for him. So a couple quick notes on all of these. That was really quick through all of the cards. But I don't know if you noticed, but for fox, actually some of the most powerful cards are only craftable through fox. So for the vagabond, sword can only come from foxes. So you have to have at least 2 fox craftables to craft a sword. Likewise with the crossbow, except it's just 1. And then also with the anvil, there's only this anvil card. Also, armors and brutal tactics, both super powerful for attack. So the fox clearings are really about this combat effectiveness, especially for the Vagabond. For the rabbit, however, not much to craft with one rabbit clearing, one rabbit craftable ability. So it's pretty weak there. But however, when you get two, it opens up a huge amount of different things. I mean, better burrow bank, command warren, and cobbler are all super powerful upgrades for your faction. The coins is a fairly large amount of victory points, and the Vagabond, well, the Vagabond could decide it's pretty useful, to draw lots of extra cards, or not, depending on what the Vagabond's needs are for the game. For Mouse, we got a lot of stuff that's craftable at 1. Now it's mostly Vagabond stuff, the root tea and the sack being super important to the Vagabond. And we got Sappers, which is another combat card, and really, really helps out, being very cheap, very easy to get. Codebreakers is also super cheap for its ability. I mean, the ability to look at somebody else's hand once a turn is super powerful and super cheap. However, Mouses really get really weak after going further. I mean, if you get 2 mouse craftable abilities, all you have is Scouting Party to craft, which is really strong, but like we just saw, there's only 5 ambushes in the deck. So it can basically, you can just get Codebreakers and save yourself from ambush. Just look at the hand of the person you want to attack this turn. Now, favorite cards obviously are very difficult to get. You have to have 3 of that craftable suit. So by the time you get that, you almost don't need the favorite cards, although they're super powerful for people like maybe the Vagabond or some other factions who don't necessarily control clearings but have the ability to craft in them. So that's basically a really quick guide on all of the craftable things in the basic deck for Root. So really enjoyable. Maybe I'll make some more of these videos, but like and subscribe if you guys like it. And later we'll talk about some other stuff and how this affects maybe the map.